Welcome everyone. This is Tracy Wagner with Versatile Inspirations, and today we're going to be discussing the benefits of hypnosis. So give me 1 second while I screen share and we'll get started. All right, so we will be discussing the benefits of hypnosis. So what is hypnosis? You've probably heard of it. It is a trance-like state that resembles sleep, but is induced by a person or a thing. Any of various conditions that resemble sleep. Or in other words, it's a trance. And what is a trance? It's a half-conscious state, seemingly between sleeping and waking, in which ability to function voluntarily may be suspended, sort of. Or a state of complete mental absorption or deep musing. So some of the other words that might be like that is like when you're in a daze, or when you're musing, or daydreaming, which is almost exactly in that same realm as hypnosis. So what is hypnosis? Hypnosis, like it said, is in that in-between stage, that not quite asleep, but not quite awake. You get to that state lots of times during the day. It's in a state when you are able to be helped in certain ways. You absorb a lot during that time. When you're in that dreamlike state, it's very amazing. Things are heightened. So if there's like all of this stuff going on in your head, what happens is when you're in that hypnosis state, things become clear. It's not a matter of all of it being entangled and whatnot. You become pretty crystal clear on things. Your senses become heightened and you can remember things very easily. When you're in hypnosis, your right and your left brain actually work together very seamlessly, and it's as if the whole function of your brain is able to work seamlessly together. It's actually kind of like upgrading your thinking when you're in that state, when you're in that hypnotic state. So what are some myths about hypnosis? You've probably heard some of these. So one of the big things is that people think that they are not in control, that their minds are outside of their body, or they're not in control. A lot of people also believe that it's kind of supernatural or witchcraft or something like that. I know I was brought up thinking that way about hypnosis. So when I became a hypnotist or a hypnotherapist in Washington State, what happened was I had to get over that thought process. I was more going towards the meditation side of hypnosis and the past life regressions part of hypnosis, but you go through the whole training for hypnosis, and even just saying that word would stir up these long thought beliefs of it being witchcraft or something that was like kind of, I don't want to say that, but it's kind of just not proper. It wasn't something you should be looking into doing, because people believed that they took over your mind and your body, and that's far from the truth. That once you go into hypnosis, you're always in hypnosis. You could get stuck there. That is so not true. Do you get stuck in between that state between when you go to sleep or when you're awake and you go to sleep? Not at all. There's that seamless blend between being awake and sleeping, and then vice versa, that you're not going to get stuck in it no matter what. Mind control, that is a big one. You may have heard about stage hypnotists, people that actually do this for a living. And even though what you see on the stage is kind of silly or funny, like making you quack like a duck or making you forget who you are, the hypnotist is trained to learn who to look for, people that are into wanting to go up on stage and perform, and looking for the right type of people that will take on those suggestions and not be afraid to do them. Even though it looks like the hypnotist has complete control of the person, it is not the case. The person has to allow that to happen. And if they do, like in the case of being up on stage and maybe that makes them excited, then they'll naturally do that. But if someone who may not believe in hypnosis or have reservations of having hypnosis done to them, it's not going to work in that manner. You always have control during hypnosis sessions. You always have the ability to come out of it even, and you are in control during hypnosis at all times, unless you give that over to somebody else. But that's just for stage. And there again, no one has control of your mind. No one's going to implant things that aren't necessarily there unless you're going and having that done all the time. That is not something that a hypnotist is going to necessarily do. What the hypnotist is doing is trying to help you solve situations, help you understand yourself a little bit better. There's past life regressions that you can have done. There's also ways in which you can think more clearly. Having your right and your left brain working simultaneously better so that you can learn better. For like students, it's great because then you're able to, if you have a fear of tests, it will help you alleviate those test anxieties and will help you to learn better. There's just so many good things about hypnosis that some of those silly things that you may have heard, more than likely it's just a myth. So how can you experience hypnosis? Well, really, all you need is just to lie down and be quiet, because after a while you're going to go into that state. It's just normal and natural, and you go through it multiple times a day. You can also have someone hypnotize you. Now, it's not always the ticking clock, the pendulum, or anything like that, but what that does is it helps put you into that state of being relaxed. And once you're relaxed, you can easily go into the hypnosis. You can go into hypnosis by reading. If you're sitting there just reading and you get to a point where it seems like things are very clear, or things are maybe, it goes both ways. There becomes a time when you're a little fuzzy, and there becomes a time when you're very hypersensitive and hyper aware of everything. So when you're reading a book, if you're really into that book and you think you're reading, but then time passes and you don't even remember the last paragraph or chapter that you've read, you've been put into hypnosis. Driving, even though it sounds scary, it is, because in all of my hypnosis and meditation CDs and MP3s that I've put out, there's a warning saying do not listen to this while driving a car or operating heavy machinery or in any place that you are not able to be relaxed and have your attention not be completely aware of your surroundings, because you could get hurt. Now, a lot of people will be driving along, especially on the freeway. It just happens. You'll be driving along the freeway and just kind of absorbed, whether it's music you're listening to, or you're just enjoying looking at the scenery, or you're just talking with someone, and you get put into a state of hypnosis and you forget to get off on your exit. Or you could be driving and not realize exactly where you are and wind up somewhere you have no idea. Same thing. You've been put into a state of hypnosis and you don't necessarily remember. You remember that you drove, but you don't remember necessarily how you got there. So it is a little scary, but it does happen. And I haven't heard of a whole lot of people that have been in accidents. They just wind up somewhere and wonder how the heck they got there. So it does happen, but don't listen to any hypnosis CDs or MP3s, no meditations, no nothing, no guided visualizations. Don't listen to those while you're operating a car or heavy machinery or anything like that. It's just dangerous. Just staring out into nature, just sitting and being relaxed. When your body is relaxed, your ambitions kind of relax as well, and you can be put into that state of hypnosis. Watching TV, it's a great one for just kind of zoning out and going into that state. You can be watching TV and then all of a sudden realize you don't remember what happened. You're just for who knows how long. And this happens a lot as well. It's the same thing. You have just kind of been zoning out and allowing that hypnotic state to take over. You go in and out of hypnosis several times throughout the day. It's not scary. It's a natural state, and it's okay. What can you gain from hypnosis? So if you have questions that you have not been able to answer and you're just racking your brain over trying to find out what you should be doing, well, hypnosis will give you solutions 9 times out of 10. You may be blocking the answers that are coming to you, the messages that are coming to you, your intuition, you may be blocking that. But once you go into that hypnotic state, what happens is those solutions become crystal clear, and then you can move forward with what you should be doing later on. You can make goals, you can plan, and you can achieve success very easily when you apply hypnosis. When you apply hypnosis, whether you go to a hypnotist or you just do self-hypnosis, what you can do is, like I said before, your left and right brain kind of work very well together. And so you're able to strategize and plan things that will ultimately lead to success. And it knows it from an inner place. It knows it from your true sense. And it's just, it helps. And once you do it a couple times, it's very interesting how much you can get done just by working with hypnosis and applying techniques that will help you plan and strategize and then lead to your goals. It helps to retrain your brain. So especially if you're looking for self-confidence or you're looking to learn something in particular, especially if you're learning a new language, that's sometimes difficult for a lot of people. When you put yourself in hypnosis and then tell yourself that it's easy and effortless for you to be able to learn this language, and if you listen at this time of hypnosis, when you're in hypnosis or you're relaxing, that's why listening to those kinds of tapes, those CDs or podcasts or anything of listening to how to learn a new language or anything that you want to learn, if you listen to it while you're getting ready to go to sleep, it actually helps to lock it in to your brain and be able to think of it easier. And it becomes easy and effortless the more and more you do it. So you're retraining your brain to think a little differently. And if you have a lot to do, a lot of work to do, whether you have a business or your career is just extremely busy, or maybe you're a busy mom and you're trying to get things done, hypnosis helps also. It will help you to plan your day. It'll help you to get through your day. It will help those to-do lists just become smaller and smaller as you work with the hypnosis. It's amazing how much extra time you seem to be able to find the more you do hypnosis, and self-hypnosis is part of that plan. So like I said, your left and right brain actually work better. It is easier and effortless the more that you work with your left and right brain during hypnosis. So your left brain, your left and right brain, your creative and your logical brain working together. And when that happens, you're thinking creatively logic and logically creative. And so those two things, when you can marry those two things, more often you're going to come up with such strategies that will just, it'll blow your mind. There again, if you have a lot of, if maybe you know a student who's struggling in school, what happens is you can replace that with almost a love of learning, and makes it easier for the students to actually absorb the information, to feel confident in their answers. I struggled with especially multiple choice answers, or even writing down answers. But multiple choice was a big one, because it seemed like a lot of the answers would be similar, or they would be, you could possibly make a case for some of those, and I would get stuck. And even just hearing the word test, I would have anxiety. When I was going through hypnosis school, I guess you'd call it, classes, we went through a time when if we had that anxiety, we could actually do a hypnosis session that would take that away and allow for more of an understanding and knowledge of knowing that you know the answers. You already know the answers. And so by actually doing that, going through that hypnosis session, I think we went through it 2, maybe 3 times. And by the time that the finals rolled around, I didn't have that anxiety, and I got done fairly early, which it was just amazing. You just sit down in the chair, and not having that anxiety was just amazing. And so if you know a student, hypnosis actually could help them so much with that. So what are the benefits of hypnosis? So some of the reason would be it helps you make decisions easier. You may know the answer, but you may be struggling with a blockage of, I don't want to do that, or that seems a little scary, or have a fear going forward with that. Fear of success, fear of failure are big ones. And so a lot of hypnotists work with their clients with that. But once you are able to make decisions easier, it helps. It helps you move on with your life. So when the next time a decision comes up that you have to make, it comes up a lot easier. Also, the right and left brain work better together. When you go through and you have a hypnosis and you do it as much as you want, because you do it several times a day, but if you concentrate on maybe wording towards using your right and left brain and having them work better together, then it's amazing how easy and effortless it is to come up with strategies and logic and things that maybe you never even thought about, and it just comes up easily and effortlessly. Wonderful. Terrific. Thank you so much for spending some time learning about hypnosis and the benefits of it. And maybe we dispelled some of those myths for you. So you take care. Have a wonderful day. And as always, I'm sending you and yours love, light, and eternal blessings. Take care.